What's up, dudes? My name is Nick. Welcome back for another one of my weekly videos here. We talk about something that is not specifically about K-pop music or Korean music specifically, but something related to the entire industry or, Korean entertainment or something like that. And so I think it's a really good coincidence that the topic that we're talking about this week is, body image in K-pop or entertainment in Korea, or I suppose beauty standards, if you really want to boil it down. And, when I had this idea, when I kind of had this all planned out a week ago, pretty much, I wasn't exactly planning on incorporating the video or the comments or the message that Edward Avila put out there in his video that he made on the Kyla Situation, his words, the Kyla Situation. But I think that this is actually a really, really good opportunity to kind of talk about that or to use what he said as an example, like direct example for people in, in the Western K-pop or the international K-pop audience to kind of potentially understand what exactly Korean fans who shun Kyla or other members of K-pop groups because they don't meet their physical specifications, for attractiveness. He right there in that video, I think, kind of put out what the Korean netizens, or not netizens, but, Korean K-pop fans think about people that don't fit their requirements for appearance. And he put it obviously in the English language so we can all understand, and he distributed it to just about 500,000 of his subscribers, and people got mad about it. I think maybe a little overblown in all honesty, but what are you going to do? People are going to do that. It's the internet. People are going to go crazy over stuff and things. And, I'm not going to break it down because people have already done that. I'm just going to kind of share my thoughts on a couple of points here that kind of really stood out to me and just kind of tie that all into my general thoughts on, body image and beauty standards or whatever kind of thing that people want to push in regards to K-pop and Korean entertainment industry. This, of course, applies to, the entertainment industry all over the world, whether we're talking about Hollywood or United States music in the United States or anything like that. All of this applies to a certain extent. But we're going to talk specifically K-pop, Korean music, because that's the topic of this channel. So let's get into why people are mad about the video that Eddie made. And I don't think that he understands, he doesn't have a very good grasp on how his video comes across, because he very clearly thinks that the video is something that is just stating facts about what the standards are and what the expectations are when you're a K-pop idol. And I can get that because he did present that information in no uncertain terms. He did actually lay it out relatively clearly in his video. We can't argue with that. And, he seems to think that people are upset and reacting negatively to those facts of life, as it regards to, your expectations when you're a K-pop idol. And so that's, I think, he's not getting it. I don't think that he understands exactly why people are mad. And so we're gonna highlight two specific points in this video, in his video, that kind of exemplify and show why people are mad, because he's not specifically laying out facts, but he's also interjecting his own thoughts and opinions and his own stance and beliefs in regards to his own point of view in regards to expectations of K-pop idols. And so the first thing is that his whole comment on the fact that Pledis did not do her any favors by debuting her in the state that she is in. Paraphrased, but he said Pledis did her dirty by debuting her in she's got a body form that people are going to harass her for. And I can see where he's coming from with that. Like, I definitely can understand that Pledis should have known that, this is what people's expectations are. This is the way that people act, and you just got to know. But honestly, the way that Pledis failed her, Kyla specifically, or the way that any company fails any idol that gets harassed like this, is not because they put them out in the public's eye, but it is because they didn't do anything to kind of dissuade people from behaving like that. So there is no punishment to the fan bases or for the people who harass Kyla and all that stuff. There is no you know, Pleiades potentially not allowing any of the members to kind of speak up and stand up for her or anything like that. It's Pleiades not doing anything to kind of take care of the situation and get fans under control and, you know, have some respect, basically. Not because they debuted her, but that statement right there, you know, kind of shows that, you know, again, from the objective viewpoint of the fact that, you know, the image that people want is this, Kyla is not this, and so Pleiades should not have debuted her. I see. But he's, of course, putting in the whole I think, which does kind of hint and indicate that he does kind of agree with that, which, you know, makes sense, I suppose, considering that he is very, very heavily tied into the, you know, Korean beauty scene. So that's obviously very much a big influence on his point of view. And of course, because he is friends with some, you know, somewhat popular, maybe not the most popular or the most well-known idols and people who are in the Korean entertainment industry, you know, he's in very close contact with a lot of the people who need to kind of abide by these rules. And so he's got that kind of point of view. The big thing that probably upset a lot of people, upset me a little bit too, in all honesty, is towards the end of the video where he does suggest that, like, you know, yes, you don't fit whatever. And so if you want to, and where he does actually make the suggestion after going on a big rant, you know, tangent about something, I don't remember specifically what it was. He says, you know, again, to paraphrase like I did with the previous statement, he kind of says or suggests that, you know, if you, and this doesn't specifically apply to Kyla, even though that's what his video was about, this could apply to anybody. You know, if you want to stop being harassed for your, you know, body image, your physical appearance, then essentially, you know, you should just conform. So if people are harassing you for being overweight, then you should diet and lose weight and exercise. If people are harassing you because your nose looks funny, then you should get a nose job. If people are harassing you because, you know, they don't like your eyes, then, you know, get some double eyelid surgery or whatever it is you got to do. You know, that suggestion that he made, right, which is basically, again, to repeat that and paraphrase it, you know, if you want the harassment to stop, then, you know, lose weight. This is, you know, specifically applying to Kyla. And that whole statement right there really kind of just reveals and opens the doors to how he thinks and the way that he views it. And he doesn't view people criticizing her. Well, actually, he does view it as people criticizing her, honestly criticizing her, not doing it because they're, you know, mean-spirited or because they have, because they're way too wrapped up and involved in somebody's physical appearance that is not their own. And that's the moment that probably tipped a lot of people off, and that's the thing that got people mad, is the fact that people asked him for his thoughts on the Kyla situation, not specifically wanting to know all of the dirty details about, you know, beauty standards as regards to, like, idols' obligations for their physical appearance, because K-pop fans probably already know all that stuff. They're probably very much familiar with it. You know, the number of times that people come up, you know, that there's articles and there's stuff that gets posted about, you know, people digging into idols' past to prove that they had plastic surgery, or, you know, the number of female idols that do get harassed for their body weight on a pretty consistent basis. People are very much aware of that. What people were asking for his thoughts on the Kyla situation were, what do you think of how people are treating her? And the thing he failed to do was say, I don't agree with that, which he probably can't say, I don't agree with that, because he does kind of, to a certain extent, agree with that. Whether or not he cares enough to go and be like, and be rude to her, that's completely different. I don't think that he really does care that much, but from his own point of view and the way the culture and the influence that he's kind of, you know, brought up his mindset, he very much is not against the idea that she should bend to the will of other people, or that an idol should, you know, conform to the will of others when it comes to their own body. And that is where me and a lot of other people disagree, and we absolutely don't think that. Because we probably believe that everybody has this free will that they can do whatever it is that they want to do. And as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else, right? So that's like, you could be as, you know, you can be as heavy or I should say overweight or as skinny as you want to be. I don't care. Just as long as you're healthy, or as long as you're not negatively going to impact my life, I don't care. You can get plastic surgery because you're unhappy with your body or your face or any aspect of you know, who you are. That's fine as long as it doesn't affect me. You know, none of these things affect me in any way. I think it's really kind of crappy that people are so much focused on somebody else and having control over their body and the way that they look, that, you know, they have to, you know, they have to have that control. Nobody else, you know, in my opinion, is more important than, you know, or I shouldn't say not, I was about to phrase that poorly, but, you know, I don't think that anybody's physical appearance is really, really, really seriously worth me getting, just like caring about. I don't care what you look like. It doesn't matter. You know, if you're in an idol group, really, what's the most important thing about being in an idol group? At least to me, it's being able to meet the physical demands of being in an idol group. So if you weigh 1,000 pounds and you can meet the physical demands of being in an idol group, then you should. You know, if you weigh 50 pounds and you can meet the physical demands of being in an idol group, then you should be in an idol group, and that should be okay. Whether or not those extremes are healthy or not is a completely different thing, because I definitely am an advocate for doing whatever it is that you want to do, as long as it's healthy. So that means, like, if you want to diet and you want to just, you know, go on an extreme diet, that's fine. Go on an extreme diet, right? That's your own personal choice. Just as long as it's healthy. As long as it's not going to be something that's going to kill you, you know, as long as you're not developing an eating disorder or something like that by doing that. Same with eating too, or overeating, or gaining weight, or doing whatever it is that you got to do to, you know, bulk up a little bit. If that's what you want to do, perfectly fine. Keep it healthy though. Don't develop an eating disorder, because of course that can go both ways. It's just, it blows my mind that there are people out there that care so much about somebody else's body. Like, it doesn't affect you in any way. You know, it really, really doesn't. I just can't. I just cannot do. I can't do it. Cannot understand it. And again, maybe it's cultural differences, as, you know, I think Eddie kind of tried to, you know, play it off as, which I don't think it is. I think it's just shitty people being shitty people. But, you know, at the same time, you know, the people, and the fact that the people who want to harass idols and bully them into meeting whatever their strict view is as to what is attractive and what is not, the fact that there are people out there that are doing that, in the way that they have a lot of, yeah, they're very, very vocal, and they have a somewhat of a decent amount of influence over people. That's not good. That's something that needs to change. That's something that international fans are against. I'm not entirely sure about Korean fans, because I'm not hooked into that whole sphere. So if somebody could, like, kind of inform me on that, that'd be super cool. But I got to say that Eddie specifically did not do a very good job of condemning those people's behavior, because he didn't even address it. And everything that he said regarding Kyla was something that kind of reinforced it, reinforced that behavior, because, you know, basically, you know, just the general thing that I took away from that video is his opinion is, you're a K-pop idol, it's kind of expected you to look this specific way, and you must. And so even if you're happy with who you are presently, you must change to meet the demands of the industry or meet the demands of the fans. And I don't get it. I really don't get it. Because, you know, going back to his whole Pledis did or dirty thing, somebody at Pledis didn't care. Somebody at Pledis didn't care. Somebody's in the industry and they didn't care. So why do the fans care? Why does Eddie care? Why does anyone who's going to say that she should, you know, diet, or any idol care? You know, somebody who knows more than you do, you know, somebody who cares more because they actually stand to make and lose money off of it, said that any idol was fine to be a part of a group, and you're going to say that you're not physically, you know, attractive enough to be a part of the group. You don't get to make that call. You know, I don't get to make that call as a fan. The people that get to make that call are the people who are in the industry. I mean, it really comes down to it. If we're going to talk about, like, the dirty side of the business, you know, prevented Kyla, or was it Wendy, I think, from Red Velvet, who was getting shit for being, you know, being a little overweight, or, you know, whatever. You know, it's happened with a lot of girls specifically, because I don't think guys quite get ragged on so much for their weight. You know, it just ultimately, my whole point of view on this boils down to that it's none of your fucking business how much somebody weighs, what their face looks like, what any part of their body looks like. So just let them do whatever it is they want to do. You know, if they're perfectly fine with the way that their body looks, good, right? More power to them. If they want to change something about it, then they can do that too. I encourage them to do that. You know, it really comes down to, at the end of the day, you know, I want every single person on the world to be happy and comfortable in the body that they, you know, have to live in. And if they are so unhappy about something that they want to change it, that they want to lose some weight, that they want to, you know, get some plastic surgery to change some things up, I definitely would encourage them to do that, because then they will be happy. They will not be, you know, they won't dislike a part of themselves. You know, and that's really what it comes down to. I don't care what it is that you do. I mean, like, you could clean the sewers. You could be a K-pop idol. Just be happy with who you are, you know? And nobody has any right to shame somebody else or harass them, or, you know, be explicit, and not explicit, but, you know, specifically go out of their way to tell them, I don't find you attractive, you should bend to my will. You know, and that's my thing. And that's why people are mad at Eddie, because his video specifically did not call out and condemn people for their treatment of Kyla. In fact, his video very much came off as him kind of, you know, putting himself in their camp, like he's on their side, right? He's a part of that group. And that's what people are mad about. I don't think he understands that. Which is unfortunate. He's not going to apologize for, he said he's not going to apologize for that in his apology video, or his fake apology video. You know, it is what it is. Water under the bridge. If you don't like him anymore, that's cool. Don't watch his videos. I liked Eddie. I like Eddie. His personality is cool and stuff like that. But I don't agree with him on this, you know, specific issue. I haven't really watched his videos super frequently. I'm probably not going to watch his videos a whole lot in the, you know, going forward. But, you know, that's what that's the thing. That's the you know, the way that you risk, or that's the risk that you take when you put your thoughts on controversial topics out there on the internet, like I'm doing right now. Is I could potentially drive some people away. People are not going to disagree with me, or people are going to disagree with me. People could think that what I have to say is disgusting and horrible. But unlike Eddie, my comments will be open. You can even DM me on Twitter, because I want to actually talk about this stuff. So, like, if you want some clarification on something that I said, you want to have like an open dialogue, and, you know, potentially try and change my mind if you don't agree with me, or, you know, you just want to show some support, or whatever it is that you want to say, like, I am actually really interested in hearing what you guys have got to say. That's why I make these videos, because I want to talk about topics that potentially people don't so frequently. I just want to talk about and hear what people got to say. You know, get our thoughts, you know, swirling around, sharing some things. Maybe I will learn something that I didn't know before. You know, and that's really ultimately what it comes down to, is discussing what it is that we think, whether we agree or disagree on whatever the topic is, so that we could potentially better understand the other side, and also maybe that will lead to a change of opinions. So, you know, that is what it is. I'm going to end it here. This video's turned into something that's about as long as Eddie's video, but I think the mine's actually more full of substance, but, you know, that is what it is. Maybe it's wrong. You can tell me that my video has less substance than Eddie's video if you really want to. Encourage you to, you know, trash me and drag me in the comments below if you really want to, or say that you appreciate me and you love me. Either's perfectly fine. Just be nice about it. So that's going to be it for this video. You know, like we started doing, patrons are going to vote are going to get the opportunity to vote for the next topic that we talk about. So if you want to have a say in what specific topic I talk about coming up next Sunday, then head on over to Patreon, show your support that way if you want to. You don't have to. Watching videos is perfectly fine. Just supporting me over on Patreon is a little extra if you really feel the need, and of course you get some, you know, reward to be a little bit more engaged with the channel. So we got a link to that down in the description box below. If you want to hate me on Twitter, show me some love on Twitter, it's not the best place to discuss, but Twitter is also a good, place that you could hit me up. Got a link for that down in the description box below. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you everyone for watching. I will see you guys for my next Sunday discussion video coming up next week or so. And of course, my next video coming up tomorrow. So thanks everyone for watching. As always, I want to thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.